This is Emily,
Henley,
and Sammy, and you're listening to Too Scary Didn't Watch.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, hopefully, to Too Scary Didn't Watch, the horror movie recap podcast for those of you too scared to watch for yourselves. I am Emily, and I'm a big scaredy cat.
I'm Henley. I'm a big scaredy cat. Woohoo!
I'm Sammy. I'm becoming a brave person more and more every day.
Ugh.
This podcast is changing my life.
We're so jealous.
We might get there.
I'm proud to be on Team Scaredy Cat. I feel good about that. That's part of my identity. It's not changing. I feel good.
Good.
Great. Well, this week we're back at it. We're doing Evil Dead. The Evil Dead,
made in 1981.
Yes.
Classic horror film.
Yes.
That's right. Directed by Sam Raimi, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got nervous.
And what else has he directed?
He did the Spider-Man trilogy. Oh, you know what Sam Raimi did?
Yes.
Which we all need to note. Xena the Warrior Princess.
Oh, that's important.
Wow.
So he's really been all over the map.
It's a good name too. It is a good name that you would be like, oh, I should know that name. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe just because I feel like I should know it.
Should we intro our guest?
Let's do it.
We should intro our guest.
Okay, guys. I'm so excited. We have a really special guest on this week. His name is Stephen Unckles. He's a comedy writer. And even more importantly, the beloved husband of our dear friend Kathleen, and father of their miniature poodle, Tuffy.
We love Tuffy.
We love Tuffy.
We're going to have on as a guest one day, but not this week.
Hi.
That's Steven.
And that's an intro for Tuffy, Steven's dog. Hey, Steven.
That's right. My dog is great. I mean, those are the pillars of my identity. Thank you.
You don't often get to hear someone introduced as husband of, and on the podcast, that's how we like to do things.
I welcome it.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Loving the show.
What's your relationship to scary movies, Steven? Have you always loved them? Are you scared of them? Do you still like them? What's the deal?
I like scary movies. I like being wound up psychologically, but I cannot handle torture of any kind. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know that it's in a movie because I don't want it in my head. I don't want
those images.
I don't want to support like creative people who are really good at thinking up fun ways to torture people.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
sick.
As opposed to like it's just a straight up murder.
Straight up murder, I love those. I love those. But if some guy's like, oh, I got this great screenplay idea, it's someone tied up for 7 days and then we burn them slowly, I'm like, no. Like,
it's a waste of time.
Don't make that movie, please.
Yeah, no, I get that. What's the scariest movie you have ever seen?
Like, the most, like, psychologically damaging movie for me?
Yeah.
Probably, like, the first Hostel movie. Did you see that movie?
Oh, God,
Yeah.
no. But
Yeah.
that's a perfect definition of, like, a torture
Oh,
porn.
it's
Like-
torture?
Yeah.
Horror movie, 100%.
Is that the one where they like cut someone over a bathtub, like hanging up?
Oh my
I
god.
think that's maybe that is the first. It's one of the Hostel movies, yeah. Like, someone's...
Why have I seen both of them?
I don't
I think
know.
there have been more than 2. Haven't
Oh,
there been
no.
multiple? It's like a Saw franchise.
Oh,
The Hostel
Yeah,
franchise.
there's dozens of Hostel movies.
Yikes.
You know what that jingle means. It's cocktail hour. The cocktail we chose to pair with this week's movie, The Evil Dead, is a corpse reviver. There are quite a few variations of corpse reviver. We've gone with the original, corpse reviver number 1. To make this drink, you combine 1.5 ounces of brandy, 3/4 of an ounce of Calvados, which is an apple brandy, and 3/4 ounce of sweet Italian vermouth. And combine it all with ice, strain into a cocktail glass, and garnish with a maraschino cherry. Some trivia for you. This drink was originally created as a hangover cure, hence the name Corpse Reviver, but I think I would rather die than drink this hungover. It is a very strong drink. Every ingredient is alcohol, but whatever gets you through. And I think it's the perfect drink to get us through The Evil Dead.
It's really good.
It's really good. I didn't expect this podcast to be expanding my cocktail horizons, and it is.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
It's for this cocktail.
Steven's on his 17th cocktail.
It's delish.
Wait, I also wanted to say that the results of the hot dad and the witch poll it's been really
I think we
really
all voted,
upsetting
didn't
to
we?
me.
It's upsetting Sammy, but is it surprising?
Wait, I haven't looked
But
at
I
the
do have
results.
some other people that agree with me.
Steven, did you look at this poll? Are you aware of the poll?
I'm aware of the poll. Yeah, isn't that the guy who plays like Augie?
Yes.
He plays like the most outrageous person in the British Office.
Yogi. Oink, oink, oink.
Oink. I
Yes.
mean, is that hot?
Wait, guys,
So
right
babe.
now it's at 50-50.
I don't buy it.
Yes.
It's at 50-50 right now. It changes all the time, so
Wow, okay.
we'll keep tuning in.
I'll
We'll
take
do
that.
a week by week. It is crazy. He's not hot. He's not hot. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
I would love to
He's
keep
not
this
hot.
theme
There's
up,
something
though, and if
appealing.
there's a hot dad in this movie, please
no
let
hot
us
dads
know.
in this movie.
Oh, bummer.
No hot dads.
Oh.
Bummer. I did find some reviews. I managed to find some from the 80s.
Ooh.
And out of a possible 100, this was like a Metacritic score or whatever. So the LA Times gave it a 100 out of a possible 100.
That's
Wow.
too high.
And it is definitely too high. And
You
they
haven't seen
said, unquestionably, it's an instant classic. Probably the grisliest well-made movie ever. So, I don't know. Kevin Thomas really loved it.
Well made?
And then the
Well-made is
Philadelphia
interesting.
Inquirer gave it 25 out of 100. Too bad it's hog-tied by ridiculously familiar plot, uneven direction, and characters of such dizzying simplicity that you wish the demons would get to them just to smack some sense into their heads. So really, like, top to bottom, we got the whole spectrum of reviews right there, both in 1983. So
Prepare
So
as well.
let's watch the trailer.
Let's watch the trailer.
let's watch the trailer. Okay.
I fear that the only way to stop those possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
I don't care what happens to her. She's your girlfriend. You take care of her.
Maybe we should like sort of talk about the Evil Dead.
Let's talk about the universe
Yes.
because Army of Darkness part of this?
Yes,
Okay, tell us do you know the order of all of them?
I certainly think I do.
Tell us.
Okay, so Sam Raimi and like his high school friends made Evil Dead 1 for no money at all, and the production value is not super high, but like you can tell that someone just really wanted to get this movie made, just like really. There's so much effort went into it. Anyway, so there's the first movie, Evil Dead, and then Evil Dead 2, the beginning of which is essentially like it seems like it's maybe a remake of the first movie, but like the whole first movie takes place in the first like 20 minutes of Evil Dead 2.
Wait, was it clips from the first movie, or did they literally remake the first movie again?
I read this. There are no clips from the first movie because they lost the rights to the footage from the first movie.
Of your own movie?
How'd they do that?
I don't know how that happened. I mean, shady film deals back in the day, I'm sure. So they recap with a lot of the same scenes, but it extends the story very slightly from Evil Dead 1. And then Evil Dead 3, or Army of Darkness, Ash goes back in time, and that's the third movie, but it's still the same character. Okay, and then also I should add that there is a TV show that I think had 2 seasons.
And that was recent.
Called Ash vs. Evil Dead, which is set in the goofy universe that sort of is set up by Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 3.
So it is a full universe of films. And the remake in 2013, is it a remake of Evil Dead 1 or just another film in that universe?
It's a remake of Evil Dead 1.
Have you seen that one?
I have not, but I'd like to. Now that I enjoyed watching Evil Dead 1, the original again, I'd like to check it out.
Okay, so I know nothing about this movie.
Should we just go
Walk us
through
through it.
the
I want to
plot?
hear it from A to Z. I want to hear everything that happens.
All right, it's 5 friends in an old car
Mm-hmm.
driving to a cabin in the woods for some sort of vacation. We don't know very much about them. We don't know why they're having a little weekend getaway, but we know they rented this rundown old cabin,
Yep.
and we know they're going to spend the night there. That's just about it.
There's
where,
like a
where in the country Where are they?
Tennessee specifically. In fact, I think
Oh, it
one of
is?
the first
Does
lines
it say
is,
that? Because we
they do say that. Yeah,
I
he
was
says.
listening,
I think
I
he
guess.
looks at a map and he says, "We just crossed the border in Tennessee."
Oh, okay.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. And so, it starts out with this sort of like weird moment. They're driving in their car, and they're talking to each other in this cool like way, where it shows how young they are. They're razzing each other, just like you want from young people in a movie. And
Love to be razzed.
Here comes a tow truck barreling down the road with them, and the driver of the car, who I think his character's name is Scott.
It's Scotty. Okay, wait. Let's say all the characters' names just so we can reference them
Good
easily.
idea. Okay.
So
In
Ash,
the car, we have Ash, played by Bruce Campbell, who you may be familiar with. Lots of different things he's been in. Here's something fun, and maybe the reason I chose this movie is, like a long time ago, I was a production assistant for a production company that was making these like movie clip show specials, and they had like these very elaborate like wraparounds, what they call them, but like live bits, and they hired Bruce Campbell to be the host. And so there were 2 different moments in the production of this like scary movie special where I was the hand double for Bruce Campbell.
Oh my!
And how does
God.
one get that job?
One is roughly the same size as Bruce Campbell, specific to hands. So there was this bit where he was sewing something, and he was talking and gesticulating with his hands, and then revealed that he has sewn his hand together.
Oh.
So the makeup artist did his hands sewn together, but my arms, I was pressed up against his butt with my arms pretending to be his arms, waving my hands around.
Wait, so it
for the
wasn't even
beginning.
like you instead of him, you did like the thing that you put your hand, like a joke, hands through somebody else's
That's
like
exactly
hands.
right.
And you were pressed up
Wow.
against Bruce Campbell's butt while doing this.
That's exactly
Wow.
right.
So you
For
touched,
how
He was
long?
great. He was very
you
cool.
touched Bruce Campbell's butt
Not only that, but
with your like body.
with my body,
You
I
spooned
touched
him.
it.
You upright spooned him.
That's that's right. I upright spooned him, and it was very sweaty and very hot. But the thing I remember most about it is that I got his wardrobe because we were the same size, and so at the end of it, and it was like the nicest clothes I had ever owned because it was like Banana Republic, and I had never had such nice pants before in my
Do you
life.
still own them? Do you still?
No, but I wore them for a long time. I
Every
really
single
wore them.
day for 6 years.
Every single day for 6 years. And then the other time he had been put in a grave and his hands had to burst out, and they weren't going to make him do that, so I did it.
Wow, so 2 scenes.
2 different scenes.
All right, great, good anecdote.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. In the car, we have Ash, Scotty's girlfriend, and it says in one line, Ash's sister,
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Shelley,
Okay.
Ash's beautiful girlfriend, Linda,
Mm-hmm.
and then the single girl, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Yeah. And they're all together jam-packed in this big old hoopty.
And they're and they're going to a cabin in the woods, and then they cross this bridge that is the scariest bridge ever, and their like tire bursts through it, and they almost like crash into the water, like we're straight off the bat. This like bad omens for this cabin.
Yeah, it's this old wooden bridge. They're deep in the woods. Actually, one thing happens before that, which I think sets the tone, which I think is maybe important to notice. When they're driving, there's a big tow truck barreling toward them, and there's some sort of a mysterious POV in the woods above them. Like, you don't see what it is. It's a point of view shot.
Where are they looking from?
That's exactly. And it looks down and sees the cars happening. And in that moment, as it looks down, it seems to spin the wheel in Scotty's hand, and the car almost hits the tow truck. So we start that as
It does
malevolent
establish early on there's an entity watching them
force of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to the terrifying bridge,
Terrifying bridge.
which
they
is
make
the
it
only way
across.
to this cabin.
What time of day are we driving?
This
at?
is daytime.
This is daytime. Let's say 5:30 p.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be nighttime.
Well,
I'm
it's gonna be
glad we
nighttime
said
pretty
that.
soon.
yeah,
here.
5:30.
Oh,
We're
man.
getting there.
That's
Not a lot of day shots in this movie.
No,
Yeah,
it's
alright.
mostly night. So yeah, then they get to the cabin, and there's a rocking chair out front that's like slamming into the door,
No, thank you.
and they're reaching for the keys and trying to open the door, and then as he like grabs the keys, as he like steps near the rocking chair, it stops swinging
Yeah.
inexplicably. Very spooky.
So
And is their car like
spooky.
shot? Now they can't get in the car and go back at this point.
No, they're not like scared yet. It's
But
just
I mean,
one
like, did the tire
spooky-
blow out?
No,
Or they
no,
just, it was
no.
like a near miss.
It was
Oh, okay, okay.
it was like the bridge started to break a little bit,
But they made it across.
but they made it across.
Feels like at this point they should definitely have decided not to do this, but I guess that's the point of all scary
All
movies.
scary movies, they don't really...
They never turn back.
Yeah.
You never really think about what's
Until
going on.
it's far too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, then they, I feel like pretty quickly go into the basement of this very scary, like pretty clearly haunted place.
Yeah, well, they go inside and they're looking around, and Cheryl, the single one, is like drawing a clock for some reason. She's like, this is like, you know, the 80s, and back when your free time you would draw things, and she's drawing a clock
Before cell phones.
and then all of a sudden, she's forced somehow to draw on her pad what looks like a book. Some sort of evil takes over her hand, and she
doesn't
scratches
tell
on it.
anybody about it.
Is she
Very
scared?
strange.
She like looks scared, but then it's like, better go out and join my friends for dinner. And they're like drinking what Jenna and I were like, is this a smoothie? Is this... They're drinking like a blended like blood red beverage and
Daiquiri,
toasting with it. And I was like, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be.
The first of many mysterious fluids in this movie.
Well, yeah, in trying to choose the cocktail, we were thrown by this, trying to recreate
Like a cherry smoothie.
this like
Oh, God.
blood smoothie, but who knows what it is? Anyways, yeah, just as someone interested in beverages.
Yeah, but you're right though. They wind up going into the dark cellar.
Why do they go into the cellar?
Does it make a noise or something?
The door throws itself open.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
they're
Wait,
like-
so many good tropes already. We got the rocking chair.
Yeah.
We got the door throwing itself open. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Go on.
Scotty goes down first, and then Ash follows, and Scotty's like nowhere to be seen, and he's kind of walking around.
Music is great in this moment.
Yeah, music is great throughout, I feel like.
What's the music like?
It's just unlike anything I'd ever heard before. I don't know how
Is
to
it just like a
describe it.
bunch of dissonant noises? Is it strings? Is it a lot
Strings
of
and
percussive
dissonant
noises?
noises.
That's exactly all those
Yeah,
things
you
I
really
just
nailed
said.
Real
you seen this movie?
symphony of sound.
And then there's a jump scare when
Scotty was hiding and jumps
Oh,
out.
Scotty. Another
Scotty's
trope.
yep.
You think it's going to be the real thing, and it's just like a friend being
Nope.
silly, razzing you.
razzing ya.
okay, but this is the key. They're down in this basement and they find
The book.
the Necronomicon.
Do they ever say Necronomicon?
They never do, but I know for a fact that's what it is.
I know because
That's
I saw
the name
like
of the book?
I
Yeah.
saw in the description it's like a group of friends find the Necronomicon, but they never say it.
Yeah.
Well, do they? And they also find a recording that's a like
Yeah.
about the book.
Yeah, they find a recording. The recording, and they play it. The recording is the professor who had previously been staying in this cabin, and he says that he had been in the Far East doing research and had found this book and had begun the translation.
Right, the Far East. Sure, that's
I mean,
okay
I
to say now.
honestly, I don't think that's what he says, but I
Okay.
imagine that's where it was. He found this book bound in human flesh, inked in human blood.
Oh, right. That is a
What?
gross, creepy part.
Yeah.
And it
Scary.
is
It
like
looks
a fleshy
gross.
looking
Ew,
book.
ew,
Yeah,
ew,
it's
ew.
gross.
It's very lumpy.
Oh,
Like it looks like it was
God.
bound in human scrotums.
We should. Oh my God. Steven!
I mean, I'm adding that to the lore. I don't know if that's true, but
It is entirely made of scrotums.
Oh my
think
God.
I think that's fact.
yeah.
That's
We'll
fact.
take it as
Oh,
fact.
no thanks on that book.
And then the recording of the professor, they like keep it playing, and he's reading like this passage that it's a lot of cross cutting in this movie. You like see outside he's awakening something, and the thing is now coming towards the cabin
As the recording
as the
plays.
recording is playing.
Yeah.
It's
What does the
waking
thing
up.
look like?
And the professor
It's
says
all from the thing's POV. It's just like you never see the thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's spooky.
and the professor says explicitly, like, these are the words that you use to summon the undead.
And they're like, turn it off. And Scotty's like, no, I want to hear it.
Is the girl
Fucking
putting it
Scotty.
together that she was just forced to draw a book moments ago?
The girl
and
literally never
now-
mentions that to anyone. It's really weird. She literally,
and
a
they-
crazy thing happens to her. And she's like, well,
Other crazy things happen to her that she never mentions either.
that's true.
And
gonna
they
get to that.
Crazier
see
things.
that this book is nasty and wild, right? And they're like still cool with it being read.
This is a different time, you know? In the
Yeah.
80s, if you find something bound in human flesh, you're like, bummer.
But
Can't
still
cram it.
But-
better check it out.
I'm so glad
Just
disco
in
is
case.
gone.
You can't Google image it.
Oh, and the other thing they find down there is like a really weird knife with skulls on it. It's like
Yeah.
it needs to be found from some sort of archaeological dig. That'll
And he says,
come
this
in
looks
later.
like your ex-girlfriend, and they have a real good laugh about it.
About
Ash
the
is
knife?
like, ha, ha, but it's like the funniest acting. It's just like, ha, 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 ha. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so they hear the book being read. and
Yeah,
a
so then the
thing
thing has
awakens.
awakened. It cuts to a scene. Well, yeah, I'm going to skip some stuff, but there's a scene in which Ash gives his girlfriend, Steven, I'm dying to know, is this a magnifying glass necklace? What is it?
It is a magnifying glass necklace, and this scene is crazy. He just has like a little cardboard box, and inside it is a gift he has for his girlfriend. You think maybe it's going to be an engagement ring or something? What it is just a magnifying glass on a chain. But
It's so weird.
I swear to God, they filmed this scene for 3 days out of a 5-day shooting schedule. There are 200 shots in the scene of like him pretending to be asleep, her like looking at him, his eyes
Lot
closing,
of
super close up of her
side-eye.
hand, taking the box. And he opens up, and it's just like a dinky metal magnifying glass on a chain,
Okay.
which is
it
like that's like an
inside
insult
joke?
to someone. Like
Is
it's
that
because
a-
you're so
is that
short-sighted.
a gift? Is that a normal gift? No,
A
right?
gift to someone?
Like
Okay,
it was a
magnifying-
different time.
Only if it's
It
an
was the
inside joke.
It was a
80s.
different time.
Or if it's referencing something in their relationship that
Well, we
they
don't know
don't
that.
clearly.
Like, I would
was
love to
just- I
imagine
was
they have a
waiting for you
rich
to say
backstory.
An explanation for this gift, but there's
Maybe it's because she really sees Ash.
Oh, that's
You know?
nice.
Whoa,
That's really
Steven-
great. But they do.
Steven
This
dropping
is,
knowledge bombs left and right on this movie.
I do like it. But anyway, you do get a sense that they really care about each other, and then that scene ends, and we go and visit.
Straight into, I feel like the craziest scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cheryl's in her room. The entity, you see his POV like looking into.
Cheryl's the one who drew the book.
Yes,
Okay.
and she's the single one.
Okay.
And so he's
Always
looking.
the first to go.
He's looking into each room, and he sees like this couple and that couple, and then Cheryl, easy
I
time.
don't want to get in the middle of a couple.
So much work.
She's in the room. He's looking through the room. She's in the room brushing her hair, like girls always do before they go to bed for an hour.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
have to. It's good for your hair
and
oils.
She looks down at her drawing of the book, and then
Does she get dragged outside, or does she go outside?
no, she
to,
goes
like-
outside. She hears, "Join us."
Oh.
Did she really?
Very subtly, yeah.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you go outside to see
Yeah.
what
she's
that
single.
was?
She's like
She-
trying to join
she goes
somebody.
outside. She goes outside, and I'm gonna let you take this one because I'm not comfortable with this scene.
Steven is scared to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's
little
because
scared. I'm getting scared.
I'm
right
a little
now.
scared to talk about it too.
I'm a little scared.
I don't love where
So-
this feels like it's going.
So she's going into the forest, and she kind of like walks way too far in for like someone that's
Is she maybe like possessed or?
no.
Oh boy.
So basically, tree branches start coming out at her, wrapping her wrists and arms, and it slowly becomes clear that she is being raped by trees.
No.
Oh.
Branches.
Oh God.
No.
There's a shot, I don't know, I mean...
Tell us the shot. Tell us the shot.
There's a shot of a branch, like, blowing into her vagina, I guess, is
Really?
the insinuation.
She's wearing underwear, but yeah, it goes right for it.
It's
It goes
like
right-
crazy.
You see it penetrate the underwear.
You don't
No.
like see it.
This is all dark. We should say that this whole show is shot with like 3 lights, so you see almost nothing.
Okay.
But
You don't see it, but it's definitely the implication. Like she is being penetrated by tree branches.
Oh
that's
my
awful.
God.
It's real crazy, and
I can tell Jenna was not a fan of this scene.
also
by her
crazy
facial
that
expression.
well, this is the scene that I knew was coming, so I was bracing for it. But this is also another crazy example of how Cheryl just doesn't tell anybody anything that's happening because she never tells anybody about this.
Oh, she goes back in and is just
She-
like.
She's
yeah,
not
she
normal.
escapes.
She's like she does escape.
Oh, she's been possessed though. That's why, right?
well,
no?
not yet.
She's just
No.
gone through this horrible traumatic experience.
no,
and been
she's
like, "Oh,
running
keep-"
in and so
Oh my God.
She
Ow,
gets
ow, ow,
away.
Ow, ow, ow.
and she runs in and is like, we gotta go. And they're, I don't know, kind of like making fun of her or like questioning
yeah,
her. They're like,
Scotty's being a real jerk.
yeah, they're like, what are you
Did she not have like
She's
marks
this
on
is the
her,
part from
like,
the trailer.
wrists and-
This part from the trailer where she says they were like, was there someone in the woods? And she says, it was the woods themselves. And they're like, you realize how crazy you sound. She's like, I don't care how I sound.
I mean, we just
We
found a
need to
freaking
go.
flesh book, and shit keeps happening.
She says, I don't care what you think. I just take me to town
Just-
right now.
I mean,
Let
yeah,
me go.
regardless, they're bad friends, right? Like, that's pretty clear.
Well, Ash is like, let's go. And they go.
So
right?
Ash and her get into the car, and he's like, I'll take you back to town or whatever. And then the bridge is donezo. They get there, right? And the bridge has like collapsed.
It hasn't
Oh,
collapsed.
no.
It seems as if it's exploded. Like all
It's,
the
like,
iron beams are
curled
like
up.
bent up. It looks like a hand. Very
Yeah.
deliberately so.
Oh, God.
And she's like screaming, it's not gonna let us leave. It won't let us
Oh
leave.
my-
I know it's not gonna let us leave.
That's very
Yeah.
scary.
Then this is a crazy moment where like they're panicking. Ash is like, "What the fuck happened to this bridge?" It looks like a giant grabbed it and destroyed it. And then it cuts from that shot to someone outside the cabin just chopping wood. Everything's chill.
Like on a new day? Or
No, just like later, like they get back in the car and drive back to the cabin and go inside. But okay, so anyway, it cuts back, and Ash is like listening to the recorder again, and he's hearing the professor say like, "The only way to stop them is to dismember them. Sadly, it's taken over my wife." And he's like, but he's just listening to an earpiece, so no one else hears that, which is like, hey, Ash, relay some information here. That's,
no one
Crazy.
talks to each other in this movie. They're
Yeah.
just
And
like
then-
keeping their
Over my wife.
very important experiences to themselves.
yeah. But then, right as he's listening, like Cheryl starts to, I mean, she basically goes demonic. She just sort of turns
She
into a
like
demon
gets
out of nowhere.
possessed.
the one who
Yeah.
got with the trees.
Yeah, the one
Yes.
with the trees.
So she all of a sudden is like a demon, and it like turns up to 11 real quick. Like
Yeah.
they're like she's like at first like her eyes are rolled up in her head or whatever, like something creepy's happening with her eyes, and she like it just looks kind of gross. And then like very quickly she's like 1,000 years old, and like her hands are like made of sausage meat.
Yeah, her eyes are white. That's the scariest thing. They have like fully
The eyes
opaque
are
eyes.
really creepy.
And she's floating and saying like, "I'll swallow your soul."
Are they all just in the living room
They're
watching
all in
this
the
happen?
living room. It's all, So
Okay.
all this thing happens in a tiny cabin. Yeah, and then she says that she's gonna get them all one by one,
Okay.
and then she collapses, exhausted collapse. Like, we're gonna get you all. How did you wake? You woke us from our slumber.
I want
and they're all
that
like,
to be what her voice sounds like.
it's very similar. I could be. I'm not wrong, right?
No, you're not wrong, and I feel like I feel like acting in this movie must have been really fun because it's just like so
Yeah.
Wait, her hands
insane.
are made of sausage meat? I want
Well,
to know more about that.
Well, it's because they had no money for the effects.
Everything's
so-
like extremely obvious, like how
It's literally-
fake
they
it
just
is.
bought it from
But
the
somehow
grocery
it's
store.
still pretty effective. So she stabs someone.
Oh yeah, no,
in-
she collapses exhausted, and then they're like, "Oh, is she okay?"
Oh, right.
And then she grabs one of her pencils from earlier and stabs Linda. Ash's girlfriend Linda gets stabbed in the ankle.
in the
Trailer.
Achilles.
Oh, ow,
Yeah.
ow, ow.
And
It's pretty graphic, right? Judging by the
Yeah.
trailer.
yes, it's very gross. And we get some fluids here. This
Oh,
is maybe the
God.
first of the fluids.
This is the first of the fluids.
Not counting the
Wow.
blended drink.
Not counting the drink. First the human fluids. And they like wrangle, or she like passes out, or do they wrangle her into the basement?
They wind up wrangling her in the basement. They kick her into the basement. So she goes down that trapdoor into the dark cellar, and they lock it really fast.
Yeah.
And there's this great shot of Scotty, like she's like hitting the trapdoor to try and get out. And there's a shot of Scotty just like sitting on it, like not knowing what to do as it just keeps hitting hit and hit and hit. And then that's the end of the moment.
They're like, and cut to the next morning.
No, well, it's never the next morning.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
never the next
It's
morning.
never
Oh my
the next
God.
morning.
Wow,
This
okay.
whole movie takes place over one night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Linda is sleeping through all of the next
Yes.
scene,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
You know how easy it is to sleep when someone stabs a hole
It's
through
like,
your
oh, you're
ankle bone?
bleeding a lot through your ankle. Go lay
Go
down.
lay down.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the
no,
same as
no
like,
medical
a
attention
tummy ache,
needed.
right? Go lay down.
Yeah, just sleep it off. And she sleeps through. Just wait till you hear what she sleeps through.
I can't wait to find out.
Okay, so Shelly's in her bedroom looking out the window.
Yeah.
And you see it from both POVs. Like she's looking out and it's looking in, and then it runs at her, comes at her, and she screams. And then it cuts to Scotty like looking for her, being like trying to find her, and then she like jumps out of the closet or something.
Yeah.
Or no, it's in the bathroom, I think.
He looks in the bathroom and
He
then he
looks in the
turns around
shower.
and then she's there.
Oh, I hate that stuff in
and
scary
she
movies.
jumps
Ugh.
out, and Okay, he somehow stabs her in the wrist first. And this was a question that I had because her response to being stabbed in the wrist was to chew her own hand off. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's right. It doesn't make any sense.
She just like turns her direction to, I'm going to eat my own hand right now. And I was like, what is happening? Why is this her
Maybe
response?
is she possessed at this point?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
She's
yes.
got the whole
Okay,
crazy
sorry.
look.
Okay.
Tons
Maybe
of makeup
it's
on her face, white eyeballs.
Maybe it's like a power move of like, oh, you think that I care that you stabbed me? I'll take my own fucking hand off.
It's
Like,
crazy.
I have no limits.
It's crazy. Yeah, so she eats her own hand off.
Oh my god.
How do they deal with her? I don't remember this.
It went back and forth a few times. Like, it kept being like, oh, she's dead now, and then she was alive again. So he, I think, stabs her through the chest, and then it's like they think she's dead, and then she pops back alive, and I think Ash has an axe, and he's like, Ash, like, chop her up.
Oh my god.
And
Is he like sad
Ash
at
is
all
like
that
a
it was
big
his
baby
girlfriend?
bitch. Like, he can't do anything. Ash truly is pretty useless for the most part of this whole movie. And he's like, he can't do it. And so Scotty grabs the axe from Ash's hands and chops up his own girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because Ash can't participate. And this is where fluids are really flowing.
I mean,
Guys,
oof,
There's
oof.
black blood, red blood, white blood in this
Oh
movie.
god, oh god.
There's a lot
There's
of
blue blood.
white that I don't like. A
No,
lot
no,
Yeah.
of white fluid that I'm
Very
not. Yes,
gross.
it's Pepto-Bismol-esque. It's very gross.
Oh god, oh god.
Okay,
so
right,
yeah,
so-
he chops her into a bunch of pieces.
And you just
Right.
watched that happen.
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean it's like
Is she-
80s effects.
What is she doing when she's being chopped up? She's trying to kill
The
them?
whole time all the like
Yeah, where do they start?
demonic possessions are they're just like so ramped up they're screaming so much.
Are they
Yeah.
trying
I was
And
like,
Linda's
she's still
sleeping.
screaming. She's still screaming. Like it's
It's
so wrong.
nonstop
They're
screaming.
just screaming so much. It's crazy. It's
but
crazy.
it's not like a zombie where they're trying to eat you or
No,
anything.
they want you dead.
They just want to kill you.
The zombies in this movie are awesome because they're just so gleefully evil. Like there's no other motivation besides they love to be terrible and see pain and enjoy misery. Is that right?
I mean,
That's
it
what's
seems
so
that
scary
way.
for me
They're
about the
just
movie.
like, yeah, join
There's
us for
kind
no
of
reason.
Nihilistic.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Scott chops up his girlfriend and he's like, I'm out. I'm leaving. Let's go. And Ash is like, I can't go. My girlfriend can barely walk because she got stabbed in the ankle.
She's not
And
possessed yet also.
she's so fast asleep at
She's
this
just in
point.
deep sleep. I mean,
Okay.
She's so tired.
Someone gave that girl a Xanax or something. That makes no sense.
okay, so Scott leaves. Ash goes to check on her. Goes in and looks at the ankle. And the second he looks at the ankle like turns black, spider webs, goes evil, and she pops up and she's a demon now too.
Oh my god, oh my
She's
god,
like,
oh my god, oh my god.
He's like, get her down in the basement with the other one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Linda sits up terrifyingly. and
Linda's
she's got the white
super
eyes.
creepy.
She's super creepy. Her style of demonic possession is she laughs nonstop.
Oh, that's
Nonstop
horrible.
giggling.
I just got chills. I just got chills.
She's just literally rocking, going.
I also love to think that this actress was like, I'm making a different choice. I see what you girls did. I'm going to make a different choice.
Good for her.
Good, honestly, really good for her. She's making a mark for herself.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
She comes after Ash, and then like Scott's back like right away, completely destroyed outside by the
Yeah,
trees.
he's like, oh.
He's got like branches sticking out of him and stuff. His face is all messed up. He's gonna die. And he says, we can't get out of here, we gotta leave. And so this is in the middle of him fighting his girlfriend Linda.
Wait, can I ask one more question?
Of
What
course.
happened to their car? He was trying to run through the woods. Like, wouldn't he get in the car and
the
leave?
bridge.
The car
The
doesn't do
car's
anything.
fine,
No,
but the
wouldn't
bridge
you-
is no good.
I know you keep talking about this bridge, but there's literally no other way.
There's no other way.
There's no other way.
I mean,
Okay.
if they're
Okay,
in like
fine.
I
middle
think
of
look
nowhere,
for another way,
Tennessee, They should have looked for another.
Well,
way.
I
I
feel
mean,
like
he
you
did.
get in the car though, no matter what. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
you're
want to
right
run.
about
I don't
that.
want to run through the woods by myself.
well,
it's
but
still-
it's
there are
like
trees
dense
in
with
the way.
trees.
Yeah.
There's no road.
Okay, fair enough.
You
Fair
been
enough.
to the woods?
I'm sorry. I will stop second guessing your descriptions and the choices made in the plot of this movie. But
You know,
okay.
Honestly, getting in the car might have been a good idea because the house is haunted. The car, we don't know.
Okay, so he's destroyed by the trees, and meanwhile, Linda is still trying to kill them?
She's still laughing at Ash and being like, Ash, we're gonna gonna get you. We're gonna kill you. You're gonna be dead. We're gonna get you. Oh, one by one, we're all. She starts rhyming. I don't remember the rhyme, but when she's
we're gonna get you. Don't go to sleep. Something
That's
like
so
that.
scary.
It's really creepy.
I don't like that at all.
So Scott is like on the couch, like dying, and he's like, and Ash has gotten a shotgun from downstairs.
Ash is pouring water into his mouth. Wait, is this happened yet?
Wait, how
This
do
was,
they
I think, my
keep
favorite
this?
part of the.
Later.
This is my favorite part of the whole movie. Is he's like talking to Scotty, who is like dead, like very much
like
dead.
literally his arm bone sticking out. His whole
Oh my
face.
god.
And he's pouring water into his mouth, like trying to like nurse him. Well, he's like just ignorant to the fact that he's dead. He's like, "It's okay, Scotty, we're gonna get out of here." And the water's just like overflowing in his mouth, and he's completely non-responsive. And it takes him like truly 2 minutes of pouring water into his mouth to be like, "Scotty." Like,
Oh, no.
It's so clear that he's dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so a situation winds up where he has a shotgun pointed at his the love of his life, Linda, to whom he gave this magnifying glass. You know,
This
someone very special to
magnifying
him.
glass necklace has like appears a lot, like as if it has
Meaning
a
at some
huge
point?
significance. And I'm like, I kept being like, it's a
Yeah, the
fucking magnifying
significance
glass
is
necklace.
It was the necklace that they could afford to make this movie.
It's
Yeah.
a symbol of their love. Okay.
I guess.
I do
Pretty
not know why
shitty.
you wouldn't do an engagement ring, but it is a magnifying glass.
Yeah, that was a huge choice on the Sam Raimi's part. Didn't
Anyway,
wanna
this is my
overcommit.
scariest moment of the film,
Okay.
Ooh.
where he has the shotgun pointed at her head, and he's like really overacting, like, "Oh God, I can't do it, I can't shoot her." And Mike's in the
Totally
background being
imagine
like,
that.
"Kill her, kill her, kill her."
And also, like, it's clearly not her, man. Just shoot.
This is
her.
the thing. This is why
Right.
it's so scary. He turns to talk to Scott for a second, and then she starts talking normally. He turns around.
They
The
turn
makeup
normal.
is gone. She's normal, and she is like, "Oh God, please
Help
don't let them
me!
take
Don't
me
let
back.
that happen again! Don't
Please.
let them take me over again!
Don't let them take me back there." The implication being that she has been in hell
Oh,
while this thing has been taking over her body.
Oh, no.
My God.
Oh, no.
Very scary. And then we didn't mention this, but good old Cheryl, the crazy
Oh my
one,
God,
the
she's
person
in
who
the
died
basement.
in the basement, is like has been throughout the movie like pounding up on the trapdoor, like getting her face up
and
there,
like
being
laughing
like,
at everything.
"Ah, kill him, kill him, kill him!" Like just like her terrifying zombie face poking up, and
She's
then
just cheering on her fellow demon possessed people.
yeah, and then so
Oh my
so
God.
Linda's fine now, and we hear all of a sudden Cheryl from underneath the door being fine too, and being like, "Oh my God, I'm fine too. Please help me. Could you open the door?" And, let me know if
right,
I'm
right,
okay."
Does she
right.
really say, "Oh my God,
She's
I'm
like,
fine too"?
"Ash."
I want
No,
that to be
it
what she
is so
says.
like it's like Ash, are you out there, Ash? Could you open the door? I'm okay down here, Ash. Open
Wow,
the door.
that's creepily
Oh,
calm.
God.
That's suspicious. That's
Yeah.
a little bit of a suspicious.
And then while they're listening to the trapdoor, Linda,
yeah.
she becomes repossessed again.
Oh.
And it's like, "Oh God, no." And she's got that big scary knife, and she stabs Ash.
Yeah, she stabs Ash in the arm, I think.
Yeah, and then she licks the knife, and this
Oh,
really
yeah,
gross.
licking the
Licks
knife
the knife.
slowly and creepily.
Yeah,
Ew.
big long. It's the skull knife that looks like
Ew.
his ex-girlfriend. If you're writing a paper about this for symbolism class, maybe that's
Oh,
Something
Symbolic.
to include.
Oh, I like that.
And then anyway, she gets stabbed with that knife. So she seems to die. You're like, "Oh, maybe this knife has special power." This is when she vomits white blood out of her mouth
Jesus
it's
for
white.
like an
Christ.
hour. It's
It's white.
very powerful.
For like an hour.
I don't know
It's-
if we've emphasized enough the fluids
I feel like
in this
I haven't
movie
heard enough
are
about the fluids.
non-stop.
Nonstop.
I wanna
Everything
he- I
is
wanna hear
leaking
more
and
about-
squirting.
Oh,
Everyone is
God.
bleeding violently. There's so much. When I think that they were sleeping in the same place they were shooting this in. That's how low budget this movie was. So imagine the floor just caked with like corn syrup and food
Ew.
coloring, and it was like really, I think it was really cold. So it was all like stuck to you and everything.
It's
So
like
gross.
frozen to the
Yeah.
floor.
Okay, so anyway, he comes back. She seems to be dead. He picks her up and he's like, "Oh, Linda, I love you so much." And he takes her out to the shed.
Uh-oh.
And there's a scene which I think everyone should know, a scene which is edited by Joel Cohen.
Oh, interesting.
He was an
Trivia.
assistant editor at the place where this movie was edited, and he edited this sequence, which is very famous, where Ash puts her down on a table and like chains her to this bench. Somehow, for some reason, this place has chains on. I don't know, maybe
Sure, just on hand. Why not?
chains are down.
I mean, it
and
has a lot of other weird stuff, so.
That's true.
He grabs a chainsaw, he fires it up, and he's about to dismember her body. He goes, "Ah," and then he wusses out. He wusses out again.
Because he was a big baby.
That
He's a
checks
big
out. That
baby.
checks
He's
out.
also, it's a love story. He's like, oh, Linda, I can't do it, Linda. So then he decides to bury her, takes her outside.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
do that.
So,
Don't do that.
To be clear, at this point, it's
Ash.
the
Wait,
only
because he
person-
looks at the magnifying glass necklace. That's the thing
Yeah.
that he's like, I can't do it. Look at that beautiful necklace.
It's true. He really does.
That symbol of our love.
Yeah.
I
So-
couldn't possibly.
So he decides to bury her. So he takes her outside. He digs a big hole very quickly, throws her in the hole, covers it up,
She came
Puts-
through walls like
puts-
2 minutes ago.
puts a big, but she was stabbed with the magic knife. So you're like, well, maybe she's really dead. Big old cross goes in the top. He looks down. What does he see? The magnifying glass necklace. Somehow it's been left on some leaves next to the grave. He bends down to pick it up, and all of a sudden, hand reaches through the grave, grabs his ankle, and just with her fingernails, like rips his whole ankle off.
Yeah,
Kinda.
like so much.
She's gotten out of the grave very quickly.
Yeah,
and he beats her with like a wooden beam that's lying on the ground that clearly weighs 6 pounds, but could not in real life possibly weigh less than 300 pounds. Like the sound effects are ridiculous. The movie sort of takes a strange turn here. Like someone was like, we got to keep this part where he beats him with the beam, beats her with the beam, and it's just really bad. That's a low point in the movie for me. Is just like the 30 seconds of like whomp whomp, very bad sound effects. They're fighting outside next to the grave, and she does something which is very crazy. She does like a superhero jump at him, like they're fighting, and then like suddenly they're filming her from underneath, and she like her whole body flies across frame like she's jumping at him.
Yes.
And during the course of this jump, he grabs his shovel, and then in one swing, cuts off her head.
Oh my god.
Decap-
So she's like
Shakes her.
face forward, arms stretched out
Face
ahead
forward,
of
arms
her.
stretched out, as if she's.
Superman.
As if she's
Okay,
jumping
got it.
across buildings or something to grab the other side.
Cool.
I don't know what her plan was, but her head gets chopped off, and it flies off and falls and lands on the ground next to him. And so she's finally been dismembered.
But her body lands on his body.
Oh, yes.
And her neck stump is on his face, pouring blood again. Another bucket full of blood onto his
Squirting
face.
right in his face, and
Oh
you're cutting
What
to.
color is the
This
blood?
is the black blood.
This is the black
Okay,
blood.
Yeah.
got it.
And we're
What
cutting
does
to the
neck
head who's
stump look like?
laughing.
I want to know the teats.
It seems like the head knows what's happening with the body and is laughing at the blood squirting. It's really having a great time having just been cut off.
Yeah.
But then the body slumps over, and it appears that she's dismembered, so finally she's dead. So thank God.
Okay.
Then he goes back inside, and he knows that he's in deep trouble. So this is when he goes to the basement.
Yeah.
And he goes back to the basement because he needs, let's say, more shotgun shells is why he goes down in there.
Okay, what? He
But he
just
goes-
goes back into there
And
with
he doesn't
Cheryl?
bring the chainsaw?
He doesn't bring the chainsaw. No, we never see the
Does
chainsaw
he
again,
forget
not
she's
until
down
Evil
there?
Dead 2.
Let me tell you guys, Ash is stupid. And he's a big baby.
Okay.
Big
okay.
baby
If there's
loser.
one thing
Stupid
we're gonna
big
get out of this
baby
movie.
loser.
Stupid big baby.
If our listeners
loser.
are familiar with Bruce Campbell, in this movie, his voice hasn't changed yet. He still has a high-pitched voice, like a 14-year-old. Like, that's how young he was in this movie, and how stupid he was. But if you
Yep.
watch Evil Dead 2, he smartens up.
Okay.
So this is when the basement fills with blood, like the light bulb. This is, for me, another really scary moment that I remember.
Yep.
The walls start leaking blood. There's
Everything
like
starts
there's an
leaking
electrical
blood.
outlet that leaks blood. The pipe bursts, leaking blood, and it just sprays the blood in his face for a long time.
Oh, it's
as
very
he runs
gross.
around the basement
Looking for the shotgun shells.
looking for the shotgun shells. He gets them. The whole movie, this is when it like takes a turn and everything gets real trippy. It's like an acid trip. Every angle is Dutch.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's crazy. There's just a long shot that is just an upside down shot of the back of his head, and then eventually it sort of spins around and gets to his face.
Yep.
But it just starts out on just upside down as he walks into the living room.
Whoa,
knowing
that's
what else he-
interesting. That's
it is
kinda
interesting.
cool.
I mean, I know it sounds kind of shitty when we're talking about it, but the filmmaking is really, really good. And the whole end of this movie is like just stunt people, like Sam Raimi's brothers.
Wait,
like
how far into the movie are we at this point?
we're almost done.
This is
We're
this
almost
is
done,
at
so
the
we're
end.
at the very end. So it doesn't get super arty. The sharks.
Yeah.
But what's the
Keep
thing
that
that
in.
triggers
Don't edit
this
that
final?
out. Don't edit that out. The shots aren't. I can't even get it out now. The shots aren't artistic until the very end. They're not
No, they are. I feel like there's a lot of like
Artistic in the
canted
beginning.
angles, a lot of POV shots.
Okay,
Like
fair
it's
enough,
using, it's
They, like,
using.
ramp it up.
They really ramp. Every single shot is really trippy. The music is really wild. Like you're just all inside Ash's head as he's totally terrified, doesn't know what's gonna happen.
Technically, Cheryl is still alive at this point, and so is maybe
Well,
Scotty.
They're all dead, and they're all evil dead.
Okay.
Even Scotty's possessed?
Well,
Yeah.
Scotty
Scotty's
died
dead.
from
This-
the
We saw
branches.
Scotty die when we were trying to pour water in
Oh,
his
he
mouth.
died then.
But
Okay.
here in
he
this
was dead.
climactic final fight sequence, which happens as they go up upstairs, everyone is back. All your favorites are back.
Okay.
There's
Okay,
lots of
great.
fluids.
Wait, even
Everyone
the
looks
dismembered
terrible.
ones are back?
Even the dismembered ones.
Holy
That's
shit.
the thing. They're
How?
all back.
And they're all just in the cabin, like living room.
They're all in the cabin living room. I mean, they're bursting through the doors. Like, I mean, it's a long, drawn-out fight scene. We don't have to go through the whole thing, but
Are her pieces put back together? How does...
her head has been stuck back on, it seems.
And what about the one who was chopped up with an axe? Like, just mismatched?
Maybe bits and pieces.
She wasn't really
crawling in.
chopped up,
The
but
first one was definitely chopped up.
yeah.
I
yeah,
heard
no,
about
they
a lot
cut
of...
like limb from
I
limb.
guess she
from
just
limb.
collected her limbs and put herself back together. Came
Jesus.
back to the living room.
Okay, so they're
Yeah,
just
I
like
guess so.
in the living room.
They're all fighting him. He's gonna die.
I
There's
remember
nothing
the
he can do.
trigger. I remember the thing. So he sees the Necronomicon. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. The Book of the
And
Dead.
uses the magnifying glass necklace
Oh, no.
as a kind of fishing line to,
Oh, no.
to get it
He's-
closer to him.
That's exactly right.
Well, there we go. You couldn't
He's
use an
surrounded.
engagement ring for that, so there's the
That's why it
reasoning.
had to be the magnifying glass necklace.
He's being dragged by everyone
Yes.
outside. He's gonna get killed, and there's like he tries like 4 times to hook this dinky magnifying glass on a book to pull it toward him.
It's like a
And
carnival
like,
game.
It's like
Once,
not
it would
gonna
never
work.
work. You look at it,
We're
it's
like, this isn't gonna work.
Also, if there are like 6 demons pulling you out of the house, I don't know how you're gonna get out of that one.
it's like imagine him trying to move a dictionary with a piece of floss. Like it's fully impossible. You can't wave floss. But he has gotten the idea in his head that you can see that if he throws the Necronomicon in the fire, which is still burning,
Yeah,
that maybe something will happen.
right.
I
And
mean,
so-
it doesn't hurt to try.
Eventually it does, and then he does manage to throw it into the fire,
hmm
and everything goes crazy.
That's when all of them start, I guess, like decomposing.
Decomposing, melting, exploding,
Yeah,
aging.
exploding.
There's like so many different weird process shots combined,
It's so
in this.
crazy.
and all of the demons in the room with him are like exploding. And, and
Wait, and
melting in
after
different
this, like
ways.
things are so crazy during this whole scene. It's like just a shot of each of their faces like melting down to their skulls and like cockroaches running. It's so sick. And then they're like finally all still. And then hands burst out of each of them, like kind of like the
demonic hands.
Beetlejuice, like
Out of their,
Long
like,
disgusting.
clawed
bodies?
Yes.
Out of their bodies.
Just
and
extra hands.
And you're like,
As
when
if
is
they
it?
contain demons and the demons are popping out.
Okay, got
Right.
it.
And you're like,
Ah,
when
very
when
scary.
will it end? It just felt like just one thing after another.
Yeah, and all we have is like a super close up of Ash's eyeball or something as this is happening, as he watches it happen, like right in front of his face. There's a demon like creepily decomposing.
And how does he kill them? Did they all just
They
kind of
don't.
die?
They just die.
They
That's
just
it.
die.
That
This
was
is
like
They
their
come out-
last like
dying.
grasp at...
Grasp is exactly the right word. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
and because they're grasping and also exploding the corpses they're
Well
in.
done.
And it's like, well, thank goodness for that magnifying glass.
Thank goodness. And for his love for Linda.
Yeah,
That led
got
to him
too.
giving
What-
her that beautiful
The
magnifying glass
message
to
is
begin
that
with.
without love, he would not have made it.
He should have given her a back scratcher.
Or a fishing rod.
Oh, a fishing rod. There you go.
A cane. Long tongs.
Long tongues.
Long tongs of my love.
So, guys, everything winds down. The hands are gone. There's a little bit more like melting. It looks like a chemistry. You guys ever have a chemistry set where like you combine different chemicals and like rapidly like green crystals
I always
form
wanted
or
one of
something like
those,
that?
but never had one.
Like it all like sort of bubbles and then
Bubbles
like,
and
yeah.
solidifies. They do that. It's like a time lapse shot. Anyway, but it's over, and he stands up.
Okay. Brushes himself off.
It's like
Says
dawn.
Just another weekend
It's-
in the
it's
cabin.
dawn at this point.
It's dawn, although I want to say the sunrise shot is the exact same shot as the sunset shot.
I'm certain that it is.
So he stands outside and he's like, "Oh God, I did it! I'm alive." And then cut to a close-up shot of a leaf, and then the leaf tilts up, and we realize it's a POV shot.
Oh God.
And very rapidly, the POV shot starts moving. It goes to the cabin. It goes into the cabin. It goes all the way through the cabin. It goes to Ash and hits him in the mouth. End of movie.
That's a good ending.
That's a good ending. Yeah.
I think the POV shot is a smart choice. It's a smart choice for this film.
He seems to see the POV in that.
Like
case.
whatever's coming towards him, he sees it.
Yeah.
See, that's very scary when movies do that.
Yeah.
Because we want to, at the very least, we want to know. And when scary movies do that, it's like, it's so much more horrifying to just be like, just show me what it is.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, there's one more thing I want to say about the fluids. Because there's one specific fluid that we didn't discuss.
Oh, no.
And it's during the crazy, like, melting scene. There's a part where they're all, like, dead, lifeless, and it just closes in on, like, a sleeve of one of the corpses, and what looks like, I can only describe as oatmeal.
Oh,
like,
Grits.
pours out of the sleeve. I think it's maybe supposed to be, like, human fat, like, melted fat.
Oh,
It looks
It's
like grits.
so sick.
oh.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God.
We didn't really talk enough about how that sequence is really long.
It's
Everyone-
really long.
Wow, I'm scared. I don't know, guys. This one scared me, actually.
This one scared. I'm like, this one scared me. I don't like this movie.
I don't like this one. I don't like this one.
Do you guys
Not
have
one
a
bit.
scariest part? What part scared you the most?
I have a big thing with
Fluids.
I mean now I have a big thing with knives.
Yeah.
Anytime a knife comes into play, I get really freaked out. So I do not like how often blades are used in this film. But I
Sure.
would say the part that really, really, really creeped me out is the idea of her coming back and saying, "Don't let them take me back there," is like really horrifying.
Yeah.
I'd second that.
Oof.
Yeah.
I agree. Also, I don't like the idea of being raped by a tree either. So
I even forgot that happened.
That's not high
That
on
was
my list.
so long ago. I was going to say my scariest part was literally her eating off her own hand.
Oh my God, I forgot that happened.
I was just
mean,
like so confused about it. Like I didn't know why it was happening. I didn't know what she was trying to prove by eating her own hand. It was really unexpected and really unsettling.
Man, I wholeheartedly would never ever see this movie.
No.
Ugh.
Yeah, Emily and I are. There's something about this
was
movie
the
that
hardest one.
we just got run over by a fucking truck
Yeah.
listening about this movie.
This was hard. This makes me regret some choices I've made to end up here. No, I love this, but I also hate it. So.
I'm gonna sleep with the light on and never eat oatmeal again.
Oh, I'd already forgotten about the oatmeal, and now I
grits.
Now I remember. Ugh.
Thanks for ruining shrimp and grits
Thanks
for
for
me,
ruining
Steven.
breakfast food.
Shrimp
for
and
us.
grits, a normal LA breakfast that we all eat regularly.
I mean, if I'm not eating my shrimp and grits, you know I'm eating oatmeal. It's August in LA, and I am eating oatmeal.
It's also 105 degrees in this room right now, so thinking about eating oatmeal.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you and no thank
Steven,
you.
You knocked it out of the
You're
park.
welcome.
You knocked it out of the motherfucking
Thank you. I
park.
did my best.
Say hello to your wife and dog for us, please.
I will. As soon as I see them, I'll say separate hellos from each of you
A
to each of
separate
them.
Thank
one to
you.
each.
We appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Stephen, close us out here. Give us something. Give us something in the demon voice.
From all your friends that Too Scary didn't watch. Well, swallow your souls!
That was good.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
Sweet nightmares.
Hey guys, it's Henley. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Too Scary Didn't Watch. We had so much fun hanging out with Steven, talking about Evil Dead. We are now up on iTunes, so please subscribe and throw us a review. 5 stars only, please. Not to be demanding. We are also up on social media at TSDW Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. All right. See you guys later. Bye.